Right, welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to show you how to change your rear wheel bearings in your DT Swiss road wheel. Now they will vary if you've got the 3-pull free hub, not the ratchet type. This is for the 3-pull system on the back on your free hub. So there is a couple of different types of bearing that they use for those with different wheels, so it may vary, but these ones that I'm going to be changing here, these are just the 6902 bearings in this one, i.e. both sides. There's 2 of them. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and we'll crack on with it and I'll show you the steps. Right, so first step obviously is remove your wheel from the bike. Like I said, this just happens to be a R23 Spline wheel. It could be a R32, an R20 die cut, an R24 disc wheel even, as long as, like I said, it uses a 3-pull hub. So obviously I've got it removed from the bike like so, and then you want to pop the cassette off. Well, obviously you can just get it off with the free hub. If not, then obviously you can crack undone the cassette lock ring first. If you want to remove the cassette after or anything, just crack the lock ring undone, and then you can pull it off, and then you can obviously take your cassette off after, or you can just pull it off and just leave the free hub in situ inside the cassette. So I'll go ahead and do that. Right, so we just go ahead and pop the cassette off like so. Obviously this has been maintained properly, so it just comes off nice and easy. If you can't get yours off by just doing that, then it's probably stuck on there, so I won't go into that now. But like I say, just pop it off. All I'll do is remove it completely off of there like so, and then I'll just remove the collar in there, spacer collar there, just get that out of the way as well. And then what you want to do is flip the wheel over so you can see obviously the opposite side. You got the end cap on there, you can see. Now you should be able to pop that off like so. If not, then you could gently clamp it in a vice with some soft jaws, very gently clamp it, because obviously these are just plastic this side, and just gently pull up using the wheel, and just pull up in the vice and just pop the cap off. It's generally the caps are on there quite well. If you've never had them off before and you haven't greased them up or anything, then they're generally stuck on pretty well. So that's those steps done. Now you want to spin the wheel back over like so, and we'll move on to the next stage. Right, so you got the wheel, obviously this is the free hub side, and now what you want to do is obviously you need to get the bearing out of the non-free hub side there, obviously. So you need to just prop it up, put a couple of blocks underneath the underneath there, just to keep it up off the ground. So obviously you need to knock the bearing out, which is just in there, and it obviously the shaft comes out with the bearing. So you get it like that, and you should just be able to tap the with a soft blow hammer. Obviously this shaft is easily damaged, so you don't want to go and hit it with a normal hammer. But with soft blow hammer, you can tap it through, the shaft through. Right, so once you got the shaft removed, obviously I was hitting this end, and obviously you see there the bearings on there, and it just hits against that shoulder when you're hitting down on here, and knocks the bearing out of the non-drive side, basically. So just knocks it down through, and then you can take the bearing off the end of the shaft, and then you're just left with the shaft itself like so. So then we move on to getting the bearing out of the cassette side, the drive side there, as you can see in there. Right, so as you can see, the bearing's down inside there. This is obviously the non-drive side. You flip it over, it's just there. You can see the teeth of the ratchet bit there, the cog, what accepts the pulls as they're going round, you know, engaging. The bearings inside there, so you obviously have to knock it out and this side down through, so you can place it on one of your blocks of wood, again like so, flat on there for the time being, and then you want something that's obviously going to fit down inside there, so there's the bearings down in there. So obviously I've got an 18mm socket there, 3/8, an extension bar, so that will just fit straight down in there like that. And you can use that to knock out that bearing, hitting down on the top of here and just punching it out through. Right, so the bearing's just moved there by hitting it, so I'll just tap it down like that. I'll just turn it over and just see where it's got to, and there it is there. So obviously now you can just keep the wheel up just off the block of wood, and then just finishing it off by tap it out the last bit of the way, like so, and remove that. Then you're left with the bearing there, so it just fell out, as you can see. Obviously, to check the bearings then, if you know they're bad already, but what happens is the water gets into these and they go bad just from the water getting into them over the time. So they haven't got a lot of grease around them when they're new. So if you haven't changed them before, or if you've never checked them, then they're probably bad. So they're worth changing intermittently. I'll say this is a 6902 RS, they both are, both sides bearing, but some of the wheels they use this bearing, a 902 on the drive side, and they use an 802 on the non-drive side, which is a smaller bearing, so it could use either, but it's the same principle. For removing them you just might need a different size socket and things, but there's the bearing. And then you see there, that's where it come from. So obviously we clean up this now, get all this cleaned up properly inside there on both sides before we go ahead and install the new bearings. Right, so once you've got the areas cleaned up there where the bearings are going, you've had a quick inspection, make sure nothing's damaged or anything like that, and you're ready to go ahead and install the new bearings. So what I'll do is I'll just, where the bearing's going to sit there, I'll just put a smear of just a very light coat of grease there where it's going to go, just so I know when it needs changing again that you've got a fighting chance of it coming out okay. And then obviously you've got your bearing, your new bearing like so, it's going to sit in there, so I'll just put a light coat of grease just on the outside here as well, just to protect it, and on the underside of it there, around the sill, around the black part, I'll just paint some grease around here before I go and put it in, so as it's inside, so it just helps keep any water out of there, because you'll be amazed how much water gets inside these hubs. Even if you think that the water's never going to get in there, usually they've got water in them. That's why the bearings go bad in the first place, just from the water getting in. If you wash your bike or you ride it in the wet, the water will get in. So I'll just put some grease on the opposite side before I put it in, and just a quick smear around the outside here. Right, so once you just put some grease around, like I said, you can just sit it in there with your finger like so, just rest it on there. Obviously this is the drive side, and then you can go ahead and get a socket. This happens to be a 20mm 1/2 inch socket. Now you've got to make sure that obviously it's going in straight to start with, then you can go ahead and tap the bearing in place. Right, so I'll just get a 20mm socket like I showed there, and I'll just hold it over, obviously out of the outside. You don't want to hit anywhere but on the outside ring there of the bearing. You don't want to hit anywhere near the black dust seal cover, because it damages the bearings obviously. So So I'll just tap it in, we'll just get it started. Flush, obviously. Make sure it's going in nice and straight. You can see there, it's going in flush. So just carry on tapping it down. It's just a case of checking it, make sure it's going in straight. And carrying on again. And just keep checking it until it's gone. Keep checking it until it's gone all the way in and it's stopped, basically. And then that'll be the drive side installed. Right, so you have the bearing fully in there on the drive side. So for the non-drive side, obviously you want your shaft there. Then we just flip the wheel over and get it in place. So I'll just flip that over. And then you want to do the same on this side. Just get a small bit of grease there. Just give that a light coating where the bearing's going to sit. In there. And then the same thing applies to the bearing again. Obviously it's going to go in like so. So if it's going in like that, just put some grease on this side over the sill there, over the dust cover. Just give it a quick smear of grease around the outside there of the bearing. And then obviously it's got to go on the shaft because the shaft's going to go through like so. The shaft's going through the bearing you just hit in on the other side. You see down in there, get it started. So that's going to slit in like that. Obviously we're going to have it between blocks of wood like so. So the shaft can go right the way down like that. And then obviously, like I said, the bearing's going to be put in from this side like that over the shaft. So like I said, put some grease on it, and then we can put this side in. Right, so we got the bearing just started in there. Obviously you can just put it over the shaft, push it down, it'll probably go on with your fingers. And then just like I say, get your socket again, same socket, and just tap that in flush until it's gone all the way in. Make sure it's right all the way around, don't go and hit it in crooked. So we just tap that into place and that'll be the non-drive side in. Right, so we've got both bearings installed there. Obviously you can flip your wheel back over to the drive side and then reinstall your bits. So you'll see your spacer, don't forget to put some grease on the shaft there. Then put the collar spacer over, like so. And then you can go ahead obviously and refit your cassette. So you get your cassette there, like so. Obviously check the free up the pulls there before you go and reinstall it, make sure they're okay. Then you go ahead and refit the cassette on. It doesn't go on straight on there. Then check inside there that the collar hasn't moved and it's gone out of line inside, just down in there. If it has, then it makes it hard to get the free hub over the shaft. Make sure you got some grease on it as well, just make it easier to get off next time. Go ahead and put that on. Then just if you're doing it like this with the cassette still on, just make sure you push your end cap back on, like so. Otherwise you wonder why you can't get it back in the bike. And once you've done that, you flip the wheel over. So you've got the non-drive side here. Now, best thing to do with that is get some grease and put in. Put a smear of grease around there, like so. Just help keep the water out of the bearing. And then the end cap, like so. Make sure you've got grease on the end cap before you put it back on, and just a bit over the shaft there, just to make it easier to get on and off. when you come to do it, if you need to do it again, you know that it's going to come off, and it just helps keep the water out at the end. So you can go ahead and put that cap back on, just push it on in situ like that. And that's both sides there complete, and the wheel's ready to refit onto the bike. Right guys, that's the steps complete there. So it's pretty straightforward to do. No special tools or anything required. So you can go ahead and replace the bearings on your own rear wheel there. So if you found the video helpful in any way, give it a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more cycle related content. Till next video, ride safe and I'll see you then.